Hello, I'm Brandy Agerbeck of loosetooth.com, and I help you reclaim drawing as your best thinking tool so you can see and shape your life and your work in new ways. And it is Tuesday, it is Studio Tuesday, and I just want to share some of the big tangle messiness that goes on over here at Loose Tooth Studio. So it is mid-December, it is nearly New Year's, and I feel like I'm in this deluge of everyone and their brother trying to sell me something. Everyone and their brother and their brother's sister and their brother's cousin and their nephew and their neighbor and their boss and their this and their that, right? Whew. December is just, you need to buy things, and you need to be a better person, and you need to buy things to make yourself a better person, and you need to buy gifts for other people, and you have to give money to people and organizations, and it's a lot. And I mostly just want to curl up in bed with the cats and not do anything. So I have been trying to wrangle my own New Year's and try to get ahead of sort of, the nice, exciting changes I have coming down the road for loosetooth.com. So I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about what's kind of on my plate, how I'm managing it or not managing it. Perhaps it'll be useful, but I am definitely using visual tools to help reduce overwhelm. But generally the cycle is I'm all foggy-headed, and then I get into the zone. I posted about this a few days ago when I was trapped under a cat and working at home. I'll be kind of foggy-headed, and then I'll get enough clarity to focus, and then I'll focus and I'll be in the zone, and then I'll get really overwhelmed with the number of choices or the number of projects or the number of possibilities, and then I'll freeze. So that's kind of the cycle, then I, freeze and stop, and then we start up again. So, for anyone who thinks on that side of the screen over there that this side is like easy pleasy, lemon squeezy, it's not. I just want to be real. It's a lot of wrangling, a lot of details, and a lot of complexity, which I think a lot of us need to do. And for me, very happy to be that close to complete on the Agerbeck method, my big foundational course. All the videos are done. It's basically the work of another book, but in this case, it's a online video-based course that teaches you the fundamentals of visual thinking. And I'm super happy with the course. That tiny bit left to do is just writing text for posts. The videos are up. The people are happy. I'm happy. It's awesome. And that was like a big, huge part of this year. And it all kind of came together, like the strategy around it came together super quick. And then I just dove into production mode. So since that has been sort of tailing off and almost tying a bow, soon I will tie the bow. Now I've been sort of picking up on what are the other things that need to be done for loosetooth.com and where do I want to go next and all that good stuff. And there's a lot of possibilities, which is super sexy and super great, and is also overwhelming. So I'm in the studio now, and I am using my pin board, my Wrangling pin board behind me, to kind of wrangle some of these details. And what I did was they have these really simple paper cards. This is another stack. I use stacks a lot. You've seen videos already, and there are more videos to come, all about very simply using pieces of paper or Post-it notes or index cards to help shuffle and sort your ideas. So in this particular case, you'll see some blue cards behind me. The blue cards are for web pages. So that's a little bit just trying to arrange what are the key pieces I need to change in my own website. But I'm using some of these cards of Wrangling's that I cut in half, I think. Maybe thirds? Might be thirds. Maybe half. I can't remember. But basically, I cut them down to a nice, reasonable size for my pin board so I can fit a heck of a lot up on that. And they come in different colors. So this is you see, my pin board cards, if that's showing up. I'm not sure how the light's picking it up. But pin board cards, and inside, yes, are pin board cards in different colors. So part of my wrangling today was simply figuring out what colors for what things, and pretty simply I'm doing green cards for things that are actual products or resources, i.e. stuff I sell. So this is AGME, which is short for the Agerbeck method. I actually can't see it in frame, but I've got a couple other AGMEs up there because it's sort of repeated information. But I'm using green for products. I'm using white for free videos. I'm using blue for web pages. And what else am I using? Those are the main ones. I guess that's all I got going on so far. And then I cut apart some of the orange ones into little arrows to help me point and create flow of what moves into what. And right now, I'm still at the just getting stuff on the board phase, and it's awkward. It's one of those things where it's like, this is that fuzzy front end. This is when you're in the thick of the creative tension, and it doesn't feel good. It really doesn't. So I'm sitting here and I'm like crawling out of my skin because I'm trying to get stuff down on cards. I'm trying to get them up on the pin board, and there's more happening just outside the frame. But it's doing a lot of wrangling. And I was thinking today I actually need to add, I have these arrows, but I might end up doing these sort of, the trope of so many detective stories and serial killer stories where you have the board with the red thread where it's like all the different pieces are pinned up, and then you have the red thread that's making all the connections. I think I'm this close. I'm this close to needing the thread to go from here to here to here to here to here. Because a lot of this stuff is really interconnected that I'm working on. For example, in the new year, you will see these Meet the Idea Shapers videos. And those Meet the Idea Shaper videos are quick videos that help introduce you to all 24 idea shapers in the Idea Shaper book. And those are meant to be just a really quick intro. Of course, yes, hopefully, leading people to buy the Idea Shapers and read the Idea Shapers and use the Idea Shapers. But they're also intended for different folks who teach these concepts to be able to share with the people they're teaching. And it also ties into certain lessons in my foundational course, the Agerbeck method, because I'll be taking one of the actual lessons from each of the modules in the Agerbeck method and sharing them in Meet the Idea Shapers. So that's sort of this cross, it's building this body of work that isn't just plink, 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 like in this sequence or everything on the same level. It's, well, if you're going to talk about this, this leads into this, and trying to make that not tangly and not painful and as clear as possible. But there's a lot of ways that these different ideas weave together. Visual thinking is complex, and because it's complex, it's so darn good at handling complexity. So, this is not, I cannot see how to make this a, keep it simple, stupid kind of bare bones type of thing. If you actually want to learn these skills and you want to learn the nuance and sophistication and really build it as a lifelong skill, there is complexity. But again, my job is to break down that complexity into learnable bits for you. So right now I'm wrangling a lot of complexity and a lot of bits to help someone be able to come to my site or come to my YouTube channel, or be within one of these online courses and have a very clear sense of here's where I'm at now and here's where I want to go next. Because there are a lot of resources I'm building out, which will eventually be green cards. Mostly online courses. There's a couple published things in the works. There might even be some games. That's a new thing that my fella and I have been percolating on, and it's pretty exciting. But all told, they're all visual thinking resources. It's all helping you think visually, helping you work through your ideas with your hands, really having an embodied experience when you're problem solving, prioritizing, coming up with new ideas, crafting a communication piece, just reflecting for yourself or creating a plan of action. All of it's about visual thinking. So it might take different forms, like a game, like an online course, like a printed book. I am percolating on this idea of an actual membership site where people can meet each other and we can all really riff on drawing as a thinking tool and nerd out together. Of course, in that, there would be value that I would bring with things like Q&A sessions or interviews with people, stuff like that. Also, I think those are kind of the major pieces. But it is, again, like I said, a lot of wrangling. So it's a lot of cards on a pin board. And again, I know you're only seeing this little corner of it, and it's still freaking messy. So it's just kind of to give you a sense of what's going on, what I'm doing now is I'll keep putting up these pinboard cards, and it's going to be messy. It's going to be super messy. And then I have to start pushing them around and finding the shape of things until things start to click. And for me, I've been in this kind of so many concurrent things now, because I was focused so much on the Agerbeck method this year. And then, like I said, once that started tailing off, then all these opportunities and possibilities started to grow, which is really exciting. But I need to start sequencing and prioritizing. So right now I'm in, if folks know the creative problem solving model, SIPSI model, you might have heard of it as I think it's called a double diamond or a diamond, depending on which way you do it. But generally speaking, let's see if that's your left. So it's a diamond shaped model that starts with, here's your objective, and then it comes out and you're in a generative phase. You're like, here are all the things we can possibly do. And that's the divergent side of a diamond shape. And then you hit this midpoint where you're like, then you're looking at criteria, then you're judging and converging and deciding until you come up with your final thing, your final whatever you're working towards. So I'm in this very divergent phase of a lot of different possibilities, and I do like having concurrent projects. Like, I think that's one of the best ways to iterate, is you can dive deep into something, get into that flow state for a while, and then when it starts feeling crunchy and doesn't feel like it's quite working right, then you can step off, set it aside, get some space from it, and pick up one of the other projects. So I can go from working on, maybe this membership model, work on that for a bit, and then switch to, hey, I'm going to work on this game, and then work on that for a bit, and then I can go on, hey, I'm going to work on this web page, work on that for a bit, and then go, oh, now let's work on this sort of like network of affiliates for the courses, work on that a little bit. But that's, a way you can rotate and get fresh energy and fresh eyes on different projects you're working on. But this board behind me, the goal, I'm not there right now. Right now I'm totally in this like big, messy, divergent phase, is to get to some convergence and know this is the next thing. And then when that's done, this is the next thing. Because staying in this divergent phase too long, some people love it. Some people only want to be in the divergent phase, and I think there's a lot of fun in it. I'm somebody who needs to execute. I think folks who know me, folks who've seen my stuff, I get stuff done. So I'm personally feeling that sense of, well, it's been great to like percolate and come up with all these possibilities and start a lot of stuff. But I have to really think about prioritizing and sequencing, so I know, okay, like I said, this is the next thing, and get it done. Like that very last little bit of the Agerbeck method. Get that finished, tie a bow on it, done. And that actually is what I've been doing with my to-do list. I don't have a to-do list right here in front of me right now, but I've just started to actually, when I finish something, instead of a check mark, I tie a little bow, and it makes me very, very happy. So what will happen on this board is it will get everything kind of thrown up at once and be ugly, ugly, ugly. And then I'll start moving and keep moving. And sometimes I'll have to take breaks, work on something specifically, then come back to the board. But it'll be iterations until the left side of the board over there is my left. The left over here is stuff that needs to be done next and finished next. And then I see that progression. So I can keep working on all these visual thinking resources for you, and you pay for some of them, and I live, and we all win. So that's Studio Tuesday. Again, it's just a matter of using a stack. It's not elegant right now, I will tell you that. This is like, I've got some gorgeous flowers here, which I'm very thankful for, and I've got my snazzy new necklace that I made. But it's not, it's a lot of pushing stuff around. It's a lot of things looking really ugly. It's the really rough, crunchy, sloggy part of the process. And that's part of the process. And I think, a big part of persevering is knowing that that I'm going to feel icky, that it's going to feel messy and weird. And you still just got to get up to the board, and you still got to, be pushing little pieces of paper around, pinning them, connecting them, maybe red threading them, and getting to more and more bows tied. That's Studio Tuesday. I don't know if hopefully there's something useful in that story. If nothing else, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like, swallowed up by this mid-December onslaught, high five, solidarity. And then nothing else, we got that, right? So thank you for watching. I always welcome questions and comments, and I really, really, really appreciate you watching. So thank you so much for watching this Studio Tuesday from loosetooth.com HQ.